everyone. So we're in June. It's a nice 82 degrees out here. The temperatures are starting to warm up. Just right around the corner here in the mid of June, we start picking up some temperatures here, but we're pretty late on planning some stuff, but I did want to get some stuff here. I know a couple videos ago and posts ago on Instagram, Angie mentioned about how we weren't going to be able to do a kitchen garden here, but we're actually excited about doing a kitchen garden because we just decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead and use our area by our garage to do a kitchen garden. If there's one thing we like about gardening is that we love to barbecue also, and one thing about barbecuing is we love to use the herbs in the garden to use that on some of the food. So we're gonna do a herb garden right here. You know, plant some lettuce back here, some peppers, and we also have some tomatoes right here in the front. It just gets us excited to get some stuff going here, but like I said, it's kind of late. So one thing we're gonna use is we're gonna use the new raised bed mix from Espoma. This is the organic raised bed mix. It's a natural and organic. It has all natural mix enhanced with earthworm castings, mycotone, alfalfa meal, kelp meal, and feather meal. So this is an inexpensive way to get your raised beds filled with the proper mix. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the expert at vegetable gardening or herb gardening, but when it comes to mixes for raised beds or growing vegetables and herbs, I'm gonna trust something that I've always been using, and those are Espoma products. It works great in my container gardening, and I know it works great in vegetable gardening because we actually use the fertilizers for our vegetables and herbs, and they absolutely work wonders. You can see my tomatoes up here are actually taking off, and that's just nothing but fertilizing with Biotone from Espoma. Let's go ahead and fill these guys up. These are the beds that I built a couple weeks ago. They've been stained, they've been sitting out here. I've let them turn a little bit rustic, let the sun kind of, you know, wash them out a little bit, give it a nice little look back here. We're gonna go ahead and start filling these beds up. What I did was I used metal cloth on the bottom and just threw some cardboard right over the top so we can throw our soil right in here. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some Biotone so I can get my my herbs, you know, rooted and ready to go. Just gonna add a generous scoop along the whole bed or two. And then I'm just gonna work it into the top layer of the soil. That way when I plant in there, it's already worked into the soil. Once it gets watered, it starts to work its magic. One of the questions I did see not long ago when it came to the Biotone and the fertilizers is that if you don't work it into your soil too well, and there will be some on the top layer of the soil, it starts to form like a mold-like substance. And I know that's a cause for concern whenever it comes to vegetables and herbs and stuff like that, is mold growing on the food. With the Biotone, that's not the case. What it actually is, it looks like a mold-like substance, but it's actually not bad for it. What it's doing is showing that it's actually breaking down the Biotone and releasing the nutrients it needs into the soil. So not a cause for concern, but just something to take a mental note of when you see that growing after you put some Biotone or any type of tone from Espoma, is that if there is some on top and it gets wet and it starts breaking down, you will see a mold-like substance. So it's nothing to be concerned about. It's just letting you know that it's actually working. All right, so I pretty much have my layout going on already. Have all kinds of herbs going on. One thing I do want to put in here is some patio tomatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and spread these out right down the center of my row here, and I have all my herbs on the outside because I would get to walk around this whole table. And then another thing I'm gonna add is some annuals in here. So like one of my favorite annuals in the kitchen garden is a Vermilion Capella. Now we used this one last year in our kitchen garden and it absolutely worked wonders. The hummingbirds are definitely attracted to this thing. They come around. It's a beautiful sight to see when you see the hummingbirds come around here. And not only that, but also to attract other pollinators, the butterflies, the bees. Because one thing you want in a herb or vegetable garden is pollinators, especially with these patio tomatoes, and then my tomatoes over here as well. And I might think about adding some other stuff. I'm gonna have some jalapenos in the other bed as well. And I do have some peppers and stuff here and there, but attracting those pollinators definitely helps the kitchen garden. Never once had to hand pollinate anything other than cucumbers because that was kind of away from the kitchen garden. But I think with these annuals, definitely attract the pollinators and be able to pollinate everything you have in your garden. The other one I'm gonna put is the Goldilocks Rocks Bidens. I'm gonna put that on the edge over here. Don't want too much flowering going on over here because I want to be able to enjoy the herbs and the tomatoes. And like I said, once we bring the grill out here, it's gonna be easy just to pick and use whatever I need. Some of them will dry, But for one instance, I know we have lemon verbena here. Rosemary always goes good with barbecue. And I have a Mexican tarragon that I absolutely love using, sticking those leaves underneath the cooked chicken, and it just absolutely tastes delicious. So as I get planning here, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about everything that we're actually putting here. So, of course, rosemary. Can't have a barbecue without rosemary. That's definitely one plant you definitely need for barbecues and cooking outside. I have some lemon verbena over here that'll stave off some of the mosquitoes and stuff like that. And it can also be used for teas. Now the kids absolutely love teas. We have some mint growing on the other side of the garden on the inside where it's actually doing fine. And the kids absolutely love teas, so they'll enjoy the mint and the lemon verbena. I also got some chamomile that we're actually gonna put in here as well. And I think the girls are absolutely gonna enjoy that. So I put my Biotone in, I put the lemon verbena, and I got the rosemary over here. I have my patio tomato that I'm just gonna stick right here down the center. I'm gonna have the patio tomatoes running down the center here. I have some parsley here that's a good garnish, you know, for when you make some steak. I don't know if you ever had steak with béarnaise sauce, but just putting a little bit of parsley on there absolutely brings out the flavor a little bit and gives it a nice look to your plating as well. Have some lemon thyme here. Thyme is always good. Not that kind of thyme, but the thyme for the garden. It's always good to use in seasonings or rubs. That's something we definitely use all the time when barbecuing as well. One thing we love to have with steak is salads, and I think these patio tomatoes are actually going to be wonderful for salads. And to be able to have enough of them is awesome as well. And I have some bigger tomatoes that we'll use for sandwiches and hamburgers and other things. Then I have here the chamomile, which the girls absolutely love chamomile tea. Mix that up with a little bit of honey. It is great for bedtime, great for relaxing, even great for enjoying out here as well. Then I have some cilantro. I know cilantro is more of a shade-loving plant or part sun, only because it likes to bolt fast. But these that I picked up here from our local nursery are slow bolting. And as you can see, they've been out here in the sun, which is weird. I had them in the shade and they absolutely hated the shade. They started wilting. But out here in the sun, as you can see, that's a lot of growth right there. And I absolutely love cilantro. We use that in a lot of our dishes. Something we love to eat, something we love to use, especially for tacos and stuff like that. So it's amazing to have for any taco dish. Then the last things I have here, like I said, I have the vermilion. Now this is one that I want to be careful where I plant it, only because it can get pretty big and I don't want it to overtake anything over here. So I'm gonna kind of set it away from the center, not too close to any of the other herbs. I'm gonna push those up against the sides of the bed here, so it doesn't really affect it too much. Then I have some Italian oregano over here. And then last but not least, some common sage I'm gonna put over here in the corner. Now we thought about doing more herbs and more vegetables and stuff like that, but I think the biggest mistake that we've done in the past is plant more stuff than we actually utilize in the garden. So I didn't want to plant any herbs, any vegetables that I'm really not going to use. It's kind of a waste. So I did plant stuff that we're actually going to use and we'll use for barbecuing and cooking and stuff like that. Things that are not going to go to waste, things that we'll actually be able to use when we're cooking or making teas or eating a salad or whatever the case is. But that's one of the best things about growing vegetables in your backyard, is being able to enjoy the freshness and the actual flavor of what these vegetables and herbs are supposed to be meant to taste like, rather than going to the store. And I know the kids absolutely loved the lettuce that we had last year. Never had my kids eat so much lettuce, but they absolutely enjoyed it. They miss having fresh lettuce and stuff like that, especially the tomatoes. Just come out here, pick them, and just eat them right off the flower there. So that's absolutely something we enjoy here. All right, so now we have Amberlyn out here who's gonna help us plant the rest of this bed back here. Amberlyn's the one that, what did you say about the lettuce from the store?
I don't really like the lettuce from the store.
Amberlyn doesn't like the lettuce from the store, so I have a surprise for her. We got lettuce we're gonna plant here. I know it's a little bit late like we talked about. This area does get a lot of shade. This is the only time of the day where it actually gets a lot of sun. But a lot of things have been doing well back here. The lettuce has been back here and is doing well. But Amberlyn loves the lettuce from the garden. She will eat the lettuce from the store, but rarely. Not really. I know she's not that excited, right?
Yeah.
What's wrong? The bees bothering you? You'll be fine. All right. So what do you want to plant first? The lettuce?
Lettuce.
You want to do the lettuce? Okay, I'm going to let Amberlyn do the lettuce here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take these out. Okay, now you know how big lettuce grows, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best space for the lettuce right here?
Over here.
Okay, how far apart? You grab them, lay them out where you think is the best space. We're gonna use just this section right here. Where would you put the first one? Right here?
Yeah.
Right there. So let's do a square. Let's do one right here, right here, right here, and maybe right here. Is that good?
Yeah.
You think that's perfect? All right, dig your holes right there and put them in. Just up to the top of the root. Got it? And do the second one here. All right. Do this one right here. All right. Now, do you like chives?
Yes. Well, I haven't tasted them, but
She said yes, but she hasn't tasted them, so she doesn't know. But, all right, here we have, this is the Mexican tarragon. This is what we put in the chicken skins, right?
yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That tastes delicious, huh? So we're gonna put our Mexican tarragon here. Make a hole for me right there. Gonna make our Mexican tarragon right there. Cover it up nice and good. All right. Then we have some jalapenos. You like jalapenos?
Yeah.
Do you really?
And chips.
In chips, jalapenos in chips. She likes jalapeno flavored chips, which is really not the same as eating an actual jalapeno, is it?
Chips are less spicy.
Chips are less spicier, she said. We're gonna put those there and we'll stake them up if we need to, but I think they'll grow just fine right there. And then the last thing we have is we're gonna put a Goldilocks rocks right here as well, right in the center. Then we're gonna put our shives back here and some shives over here as well. And again, the annuals are just to bring the pollinators so we can have these jalapenos pollinate those flowers and get ready to go. What's that there? Oh, she's looking at bugs on the flowers there. Now, we have to water this. You wanna go get the watering can?
Yeah.
All right, so while Amber is watering the herbs and vegetables there, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. Just wanna talk about, it's kind of late to do these. We were kind of thinking about doing the kitchen garden or not, and we decided to do it. Now, to save of any of the questions, I know we're doing this by the garage, and it's kind of, the question might come up, why by the garage? Our garage is actually located in the back of the house. We live on base, so it's not actually at the front of the house, so we have this room to do it here. I drive a bigger truck that doesn't fit in the garage, and we have a lot of storage in the garage, so we don't hardly ever use this spot, but this is a great spot to bring out the grill, enjoy the herbs, and you can already get all the aromas from the herbs and the vegetables just being planted in the soil, and it's something we're absolutely going to enjoy to do out here and just be able to enjoy this kitchen garden. Again, the pollinators will be out here is something else the kids love to see. I know they love the hummingbirds and stuff like that, but it's kind of late. Again, some of these may or may not do well, but I know that with this soil and with these fertilizers, we're absolutely going to give them a fighting chance, and that's something that's very exciting to do. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stay up to date with what we're doing on Instagram, Facebook, and then follow on videos on YouTube where you can see the progress of all our projects that are going on. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Nope. You got it. Oh. What are you doing? Stop. You want to do the rest of it?
Yeah.
You want to come on? Oh, here, come on.